Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me on my podcast, Swiping Over 40, Online Dating for Mature Women. So all you ladies over 40 years old that are looking for love the first time around, or maybe it's the second or third time around, join in on our podcast as I interview all different types of men from all walks of life who give advice on dating, how to navigate the internet dating process, things that men are looking for. We share stories, looking really forward to sharing all this valuable information with you and helping you find love the first, second, or even third time around. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me, your host, Kathlyn Heim, on Swiping Over 40. Online dating for mature women, and we are back here with Mark Worcester, Nurse Mark. He's been on here multiple times, and there's a reason why. He's got a lot of great advice for you ladies that are out there looking for love the second, third, fourth, or fifth time around. So, Mark, welcome to the show again.
Oh, so great to be here, Kathlyn. Thanks for having me back. And you're right, fourth, fifth, sixth time, 100th time. There's 8 billion people. Get busy. Come on.
I love it. Yeah, so don't ever feel like there are no good men out there. There are billions. How many billions of people in the world?
8 billion people on the planet. There are good people everywhere. There really are.
Yeah, and on our last episode, we talked about long distance dating, about stepping outside of your zip code and finding, if you're not finding someone in your box, maybe you're not meant to be in that box. Maybe you have a path where you're supposed to be somewhere else with someone else. And that's what
exciting adventures. Oh my gosh, that's what life is all about, right? Exciting adventures.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what Mark did, and he's now married to his beautiful bride, Jamie, and they were a long relationship. Yeah, and they were married. Anyway, just go to my episode about long distance dating, and you'll check out their whole story. It's actually a beautiful love story, and it's super inspirational and provides so much hope. Today, Mark, is a different, it's not that I ever really have an agenda. I let things flow. However, I have my computer here because I have gotten emails from ladies out there. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read some of those questions they have in their emails. And I'm going to see if you can provide some advice from a man who's,
let's see how it goes.
All right, here we go. So first off, Jamie, it's okay because you had your episode. Mark, I love your smile and you are great to follow. I'm 69 years old and I started this dating online shit. And then in parentheses, she said, I meant to say site. In January of this year, and in all capitals and multiple exclamation points, this is hard. We don't want it to be hard. What she says, to summarize, the first guy interested was a scammer. The second guy was friends with my son. And the next guy, who I fell very hard for, just wanted sex. OMG. But boy, was it great sex and actually a great experience.
Right. That's a great story right there. So but it's not what you're obviously looking for, right?
Well, here's what she goes on to say. It seems to me everybody wants that, in quotes, perfect relationship. But I'm not sure many are actually willing to change or work towards the perfect relationship. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, we've talked at length about that, haven't we? So it always comes back to what am I doing to not fix me, but figure out how I'm wired. Like we get wired in a certain way and then we have expectations, and man, until I could let go of those expectations and just let my partner be themselves, that's the magic of the relationship, is that I have no expectations that my now wife is going to be any other way than how she is. And so that's not, you're right. Your listener is right. People have expectations and they look for that perfect relationship, and there really just is no such thing as a perfect relationship. We're all human beings wired in our own ways, and emotions get in the way. And anyway,
Yeah, no, it does.
Working on yourself is really the key. It's the key.
And finding somebody, so that's a key point that you had. So, she needs to work on herself. I'm not saying I don't know, about this person so much, but, I'm saying that if you aren't, to my listener, if you aren't working on yourself, that's a great place to start, because everything is, everything starts with you. And then I think that you'll draw like-minded people into your energy. And I think that that's what happened with you and your.
That's the thing. And that's what I don't think we talk enough about that. If you're in a particular space, you will continually draw those things to you. So if you're in a space of there are no good men, guess what? You're going to find a lot of those.
Right.
You'll find a ton of men that aren't really that good. Not that they're not that good. They're just not for you. Right. So if you can get out of that mind space and get into a, hey, you know what? I love me and I deserve the best. Guess what? You're going to get the best.
Put your own self on a pedestal. I don't mean arrogant. I mean on a pedestal that you're worthy, instead of putting someone else on a pedestal while you're, at their feet, begging for them to give you attention. If they don't give you attention,
whoever you are, you're an amazing person. Kathlyn, absolutely. Yeah.
I love that. Whoever you, I'm not going to say names of this person that emailed me. However, you are an amazing person. And again, the last episode, Mark's wife talked about dating yourself first. And I think that's important.
Yeah. Dating yourself. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
She went on to say it can be very frustrating, and you can even imagine at this age. Mind you, this lady's out there at 69. You know what? You go, girl. You get out there. It's not very fun playing games, and it's not easy learning the online rules. Well, the rules are not the rules that we had when we were younger. And I really need to emphasize that with women. There's a book called The Rules, and I read it too, and I never followed the rules because I was never very good at that. But there was a lot of great advice. I guess
that for a minute.
I've never, not that I'm a rule breaker, but I just don't. I'm not exactly wired that way, and I wanted to, and I saw my friends do it. It didn't work. Rules are meant to be what?
Rules are meant to be fluid.
So the rules, so what are the rules for online dating over 40, 50, 60? Are there rules, Mark?
People say that there are rules. People say there are rules. And the bottom line is, no, Kathlyn, there are no rules. You make them all up.
You make the rules.
You make them up. Whatever rules you want. I got married in 30 days. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there's a rule out there that says that I'm absolutely effing nuts for doing that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm sure there's a rule that I broke that said thou shalt not get married in less than, X whatever. Yeah,
exactly. We don't live in that kind of environment anymore. We're in the middle of a pandemic. You know what? Life is short.
All bets are off, baby.
Well, here's some other questions that I'm looking at that relate to that, which will probably answer maybe this young ladies' questions. Mm-hmm. So after you meet a person and you think you have a great time and a great connection, meeting, so in person, who contacts who first? And how long, if he hasn't contacted me, how long should I wait to hear from him? And oh my gosh, is this something that comes up over and over and over? And this is why I definitely wanted to focus on this one. Mm-hmm. So they went on a date.
Yep.
Okay. And it went well. So let's answer that, Mark. Mm-hmm.
Listen, Kathlyn, there's a ton of rules around that, and they're all made up bullshit. At the end of the day, if you enjoyed this person's company, I say be bold and fearless and just step right into that. Because what we do is we sit there and we obsess about whether I should be first or she should be first. And what do I say? How do I feel if she doesn't respond? Was I the only one who thought it was a really good date? Although he or she said it was a great time. Like you just dispense with all of that, let go of it, and just reach out.
So there's
what do you get to lose?
Yeah, but there's a reason why women respond that way. One is the book that I was telling you about, the rules book.
Yep.
And then, you know, and how, but there's also a lot of men, you know, men are hunters. They're conquerors. And they do like the chase. They feel like they have the prize. And I remember reading a book when I was younger, and the analogy was, if a man goes deer hunting, they spend probably a year in preparation. You know, they make their plans in advance. They get the gear, the ammo, they're set to go. They'll sit in that tree all day long waiting for that deer. And once they get that deer, they go and they like put it on all over the house. You know what I mean? Where everyone is going to be is where that deer head is mounted in the house. But if someone a dead deer were to land on the front porch, they would call animal control. If they would hit a deer that's crossing the road, they would probably be frustrated that maybe they're, you know, damn deer, you know what I mean, and throw it to the side of the road. So, but is there truth to that though? Is there some type of cat and mouse that you need, a little bit of cat and mouse that you need to play, maybe a little bit of letting the man take somewhat of a lead? I mean, meaning, before you answer, I know your answer's formulated, but it's like, you have a date and the woman says, you don't hear, thank you, I had a good time. And they said, me too. The next day, good morning, how are you? I'm good, how are you? Thinking about you. It's like, mom, you know, when your kids are, look at me, mom. And you're, okay, what?
I mean, I'll tell you, if I had a good date, the next morning, I'm contacting that person and saying, hey, when am I going to see you again? Because if I had a good date, well, damn it, I'd like to have another good date. So I don't wait. I don't play any game. I just step right in and say, when are we going to see each other again? Because I had a really good time. And you know what? The answer is either, oh, we're going to get together this, you know, and you work out the details, or you find out right away that person says, you know, I didn't think it was such a great time, or, you know, whatever the reason is, but at least you get an answer that you know you can work with.
So have you ever had this situation, because it's really making my wheels spin? So like, for instance, so you think you had a good date because the conversation flowed, you felt attracted to them in your mind, you felt the vibe, you know, maybe the person's just a gentleman. So now if you've reached out to them as a woman and they got back to you politely, but they didn't reach out to you, let's say the first time, you thanked them for the date, you had a good time, me too. And then time goes by, nothing. Now, at some point, I mean, do you think it is wrong for the woman at this point to continually reach out? Do you think maybe one or two messages and kind of let that go?
Yeah, one or two messages. If they're not returning the message, listen, I'll tell you, there were some girls that I went out with and I definitely wanted to go out with again because they were super hot and I wanted to have sex with them, honestly. And you know what? I would not get a return text for like a day or two. Game over. Because I know these days you have your phone on you and it's this consistent 2-day turnaround for a text message. I know how I'm wired. I'll make up all sorts of bullshit stories about it. And I don't need to go through that drama. So I immediately know that this is not going to be a fit for me.
Delete the number. Yeah.
Gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just,
right.
It's done. Like, yeah.
So part of her question was this, now that you said that, how long, so let's say she decides not to text him. How long should I wait if I don't hear from him? So I guess we already said, go ahead and reach out. So
I'm like a next day kind of person.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what I am? If I've had a good date, I'm texting on the way home saying, hey, you know what? That was a really good date. Thanks for going out. And then I leave it there. And then the next day we have a conversation. Like it's never, I don't have time to play the game.
Most men, if they're interested, you say you don't have time to play the game, but I think that most men that I've talked to or interviewed for this show have a similar mindset to you. So I would say to this listener, he's just not that into you, right?
Yeah.
And it may not,
I would say again, there's 8 billion people. There's a lot of people around.
Or it's timing. Maybe he's just,
or it's timing.
or there's other people. You know, you don't know until you know. So why hold on to
I'm huge on connection though. Like, you know, there's got to be that energetic connection to that person in order for anything to proceed. It really is about that for me. So, you know, I'll know right away I'll know right away, even before that person doesn't text me for 2 days, that it wasn't going to be a good fit.
So you talk about the energetic connection, and I think there's a lot to be said about that. And let's face it, if we all actually give it some thought and we're honest, the reason a woman or a man would feel uncomfortable reaching out is because they didn't feel the energetic connection. Either they didn't feel it from themselves towards the other, or they didn't feel it from the other towards them. Because when we have that connection, you don't have any fears. You really feel that, like, oh, it's just open. It's fine. Right.
Yeah.
That's what I think anyway.
Yeah.
What do you think? Yeah.
I do. I agree. Yeah. You know when there's a connection or not. But people, you know, because it's online dating and because it's so easy, you can get ghosted. People will just never respond, or they'll be really slow to respond because they don't want to hurt your feelings. You know, rather than just saying, hey, listen, it wasn't a fit. Thanks. Appreciate it. It was, you know, it was really nice to meet you and wish you the best of luck.
Ghosting us.
Don't have the guts to say that.
Yeah. They're not a man if they can't just say, hey, I don't want to talk to you anymore. And then you don't want them anyway. So let that ghost, you know, fly into the haunted house or wherever they're going. It's almost Halloween, right? Yeah. So here's another one, Mark. Okay, here's another one. Where did it go? What if you receive you reach out to that person and you receive either a disappointing response or a non-committal response? I can tell you, I don't know if you know as a man what those are, so you probably do, but I'm going to tell you, being a woman, a disappointing response is they're not interacting with what you just said. They're just like pacifying you. Like you might say, hey, you know, how are you? I hope you're having a great day. I thought about you. And you get like a thanks, or TY, or you too, or a non-committal response. You know, I'm trying to think what that might be. You know, just, I would say probably similar.
Yeah. So if she says, hey, when are we going to get together again? And then it's just like, yeah, we did have a good time.
Okay. So what
non-committal. It's not like saying, oh, I'm going to check my calendar right now.
What is your suggestion when somebody receives that type of response, non-committal or disappointing?
Yeah. So, well, number one, it could just be whatever. There's so many possibilities. It could be that person is super busy at that specific moment and can't interact.
Right.
Or it could be that they're just not interested, right? So those are two possibilities out of many different possibilities. So it goes back to how you feeling about yourself, you know? How are you feeling about you? So is it really super important that this person responds in a certain way? If it is, then they're not your person. Then just move on. You'll find somebody else. You'll find somebody else. You can't make somebody be somebody that they're not, I guess is what I'm saying.
Exactly. And again, we never know their situation, and there's a lot of shadiness with online dating because people can
there is.
There's another one of our episodes coming up, but one thing I'm thinking of is you know, it came to mind and now it went away, but you talked about just letting it go. You have to let it go at that point. Honestly, you can't keep reaching out to somebody. And I gave the example of when my kids were little and I'd be trying, and mom, do you see this magic trick? Mom, look at the ball. Mom, look at the ball. Mom, do you see my shoes? And it's similar. Like, don't be so desperate. Like, you know, it's like when somebody's they want to get married and it's the wedding and they throw the flowers and there's that one person that throws their whole body and falls over everybody.
Yeah.
Like, I want the flowers. Don't be desperate. Right. You're better than that. And it's the thing is, if it's meant to be, it'll be, and maybe it's timing. And I think timing is a lot of everything. And so anyway, so that, yeah. So you're saying, if you receive that, do you say text again, call again, or just let it go?
Yeah, I just, you know what, if it's early on, I might give that person the benefit of the doubt and say, yeah, maybe she's, maybe she's super busy in this particular moment, but I've spent my fair share of time waiting for somebody to respond back and respond back, you know, with a nice response, right? You can figure it out pretty quickly.
So it's you.
Within 3 days, easy, you can figure out what their MO is, and if that's just the way they are. And some people say, "Oh, I'm just not really a texter." Like, well, then you're probably not a fit for me because I'm a mad fucking texter. Ooh, excuse me, a mad texter. I like to text.
That's right. This is an adult.
Oh, it is. It's adult. Yeah. So I'm a mad fucking texter. I love to text. That's like my primary method of communication is text. I haven't listened to a voicemail in probably 2 years. I probably have like 150,000 voicemails. I don't listen to them. Text me and I'm immediately getting back to you because that's how I like to communicate. If that's not your thing, we're probably not going to be a fit. And it's pretty simple. It's yeah.
Don't put the round peg in the square hole, right?
Right.
Because there's 8 billion something people.
There's 8 billion pegs out there.
Says Nurse Mark. Okay, so now I have enough.
It's true.
Okay, I'll believe you. So here's the next one. What are the statistics / percentages of finding a true great match on a dating site? And is there a better way than an online dating site? I think it's pretty,
yeah, that's a darn good question. What do you think?
I honestly think that, so I at our age, I honestly think that either through friends or online dating is really the way to go because, especially with the pandemic, but take away the pandemic, most of us are professionals, we have jobs, we have maybe families, we've had past relationships, friendships, homes, whatever we have, in our life, hobbies. So maybe you can meet somebody doing a hobby that you really love, but don't do something just to meet somebody. And sometimes it happens. But I do feel like the dating sites are a way to open yourself up to people that you wouldn't normally meet. And again, like we could go, thousands of miles outside of our zip code and open it up. So I believe.
I mean, I met my wife at a conference. And never in a million years would I have ever thought that I would be married to her in less than a year. But you never know. It happens. We just reached out to chat on one night in July, and 30 days later, boom,
you're there.
That can happen. That can literally happen. So I think that online dating is actually a good thing. A lot of the listeners are frustrated and not really having much of a good time. But I'll tell you, I dated some really fabulous people, just fabulous women, just really amazing human beings, and I loved every one of them. And I hated online dating when I first started it. Well, because I had too many expectations about how people should be.
Well, you know what? You just hit the nail on the head, Mark, because I think we've talked about this before, or I have with somebody else, but drop the agenda, drop the expectations, live in the moment. What am I going to learn about myself while I'm with this person? And what am I going to learn about somebody else? Like maybe I'll learn, what wrench to use on a car or something. I don't know. I'm just throwing something out there that I don't know, but
I have some really good friends, people that I dated that are just really, really good friends of mine now, right? Who I just absolutely love having in my life. We met online dating.
Yeah, and they might have introduced you to somebody. And on top of that, there's online dating, which you kind of know where people are at, that they're looking for that. But there is, like you met your wife at a convention, however you reconnected via social media. So you can there's always social media, if you partake in that. But I say don't put yourself in a boundary box again of what you will and won't do. Be open to the possibilities, and however it works, it works. But in answer to that question, I think that online dating at this age, 40, 50, 60s, I think it's a really great way to to cipher through people and meet them.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So let's see how much time we have left. We got a little more time. Do you have a little more time, Mark? Because I got a few more here. Okay, awesome. So I have, at this age, I'm over 50. The relationships move very fast. It is a tricky balance in how fast or slow to move. What are your suggestions? And I already know
well, I've never been one to move very slowly. Like I dive into life. I enjoy living like that. And man, I have the most amazing wife and the most amazing life. So I'm not one to say go slow. Like if you feel like it's a fit and that other person is feeling the same way, then just let go of all of the reasons and rules and restrictions and just love.
And it's about, I'm sorry.
I just said go for it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's about your own comfort zone and knowing yourself. How comfortable are you? And what do you mean by fast? Do you mean fast emotionally? Right. Do you mean fast sexually? Do you mean, fast commitment wise? So that's something that you have to decide yourself, whether or not something's going to happen. And I do believe we as women have to decide, and men too, but I'm speaking to women specifically. We have to decide what we want. Do we want to be married? How soon do we want to be married? Do we just want a travel partner? How
whatever it is.
Intimacy. Yeah. If I say I don't want intimacy until I've known someone for 30 days or whatever, or I don't care, I just be okay with your own decision and don't second guess yourself after the fact, because you be you and you will attract someone who likes you the way you are, right?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yes.
Great advice, Nurse Mark. So let's see what else we have here. Okay. Are men just bored? I think I can answer this. Or actually looking.
Yeah, I'd love to hear your answer.
Or actually looking for a relationship, meaning are they serious or just playing online? Let me answer first. Okay. She says, he says. I'm gonna say both. There are men on there that are really looking for a relationship. There are men who are in the middle, like I'm looking to meet people, and if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And there are people on there that are in committed relationships and married, and they're looking there to chat with girls and kind of play around and get pictures. That's how I feel. What are your thoughts?
I would agree with that. And I would say that, we talked about timing and about meeting somebody at a particular time. There was a time when I was online dating where I was just dating as many people as I could because I was enjoying having sex with a lot of different people. And that was my thing. That's what I wanted to do. And then there was another time during, my 10 years of online dating where I was like, I'd like to be in a relationship. I think, that's what I want to do, So the shines wore off of the sex thing, and so now I'm interested in being in a relationship, and then I would have a relationship, and so you're gonna meet different people with different things going on, but that same person 2 years down the line may have totally different intentions and what they want out of life.
Absolutely. And I don't know about you. I mean, I'm going to say, you just told me about your experiences, and I've never been on there just to hook up with a bunch of guys, but there's been times when I've been like, you know what, I just want to meet people, and I just kind of want to feel people out and kind of get to know people and myself and take things slow. And there's been times where, I'd like to meet one person, again, on and off, so that's a great answer. So let me see. I'm looking at my computer, my emails to find another one here. We already talked about this in our last episode. So this is interesting, but I think we can touch on it again and refer to the last episode for more of an answer. Are most people looking for someone local, or are people mobile in today's world and open to a long distance relationship, or open to trying a long distance relationship because one party is available to move? How does that usually work? And you're the expert, you and Jamie, in this.
It's worked great for me, but I was in a place in life where I had intentionally downsized everything so that I had created a mobile life. Like my new business, I can do anywhere. And so I'm able to travel because I was intentional. That's what I wanted to do. So when I met Jamie, it was like not even a question that if I wanted to, I could move to wherever she was, or whatever the deal was going to be. I was open to whatever it was going to be. So yeah, I think people are more willing to step outside of the local area and have relationships with people who are not, geographically located where they are. Some people that's not what, it just won't work for them. They want to be local and they want to have this very localized life. Other people are like, oh, hell no. You know what? I mean, especially with COVID, COVID is just a temporary situation. It is going to go away. Although we think it's like going to last forever. It's not. It'll work itself through and we'll be out of this. And then you can travel anywhere you want, right? Wouldn't it be cool to say, hey, you know what? Let's fly to Denver. I'll meet you in Denver on Friday night, and then have this amazing weekend with a person that you have like this unbelievable connection with. Oh,
yeah. I have to tell a funny COVID thing that I saw today because I just had a little thing in my throat. So I coughed and I saw this thing today. It said, we used to cough to cover our farts and now we fart to cover our coughs. That is so true. Like someone sneezes and everybody in the store
says,
ready to snipe them.
Oh.
So but an answer, what I hear you answering, I think is the truth. Again, it depends. I think there are people that really just want someone easy and local because their life is busy. Yep. Maybe that's where they're at. And I have actually seen people online that say looking for someone within 5 miles. Okay, that's really restrictive, but guess what? Go for it. That's what you want. Just be honest.
If it works, if that's what your requirement is, if that's how you feel about it, then stick to it.
Yeah, I know. Personally, this is something that I've thought about, because I'm so busy currently, working full time and, over here in my master's program. And then I've got the podcast, the book, I'm so busy. I think a long distance person would be perfect because we could plan a wonderful getaway, like you said, wherever we choose. And talk on the phone and then still have our space, You
don't know where it'll go.
No, you don't.
That's the thing.
I'm open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the most amazing things happen when you let them.
I love that. So in answer to that question, again, it depends. You have to find out. Now I've got just a few more questions if you have time for them.
Yeah.
Do you? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, actually I've got quite a few, but we'll try to move through them. So
let's go.
Do you recommend researching everyone? Or should we be looking for our research? Or what should we be looking for in our research before we befriend someone online or meet them in person? So women do this, they get those sites Been Verified.
Yeah, I think it's important that that women do that because one of your listeners mentioned it earlier on, there's scams out there. Unfortunately, as part of this whole online community, there are people who are going to scam you. It's just the way it is. So, yeah, you could do research. I mean, I've never, as a man, I've never Googled a woman and said, okay, well, what's she up to? Or I just never have.
Well, so let me answer that too, Mark. There's stalking and there's research. So if you're researching, say, I'm meeting this man for dinner. I want to know who he says he is. So I'm going to Google his phone number and I see that comes back to him. Okay. Yeah. And versus I'm on your Facebook and I'm looking at your daughter and your son and your ex-wife and your ring and wondering, that's different. But women do that, trust me. And I understand why, because they have been played so many times and they're very leery, which they should be. And a lot of the, we talked about narcissism, but, being a former Los Angeles police officer, I have a lot of stories to tell you about unsafe men and how to identify them early on. So we will, and Mark, you'll talk about that with me, hopefully.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, so you're saying, go ahead and research, but what do you feel if someone was going on your Facebook page?
Listen, I'm I'm like a unicorn. I'm just out there. So somebody's on my Facebook, I don't care. That's fine. Read all you want. I've got tons of information out there online. Having been in the business world for a long, long time. So you're going to find a lot of stuff on me.
Okay.
That's it. But we had a tragedy, sometimes, there are things though that happen when you research somebody that, I've had it happen to me where we had a tragedy in our family and it was all over online. And for 2 years after that, if I dated anybody local, it would be like maybe get to one date or not even before they just ghost, because they would automatically just say, oh, that was a tragic event. And
I don't want anything to do with it. Yeah.
I don't want anything to do with it.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So,
but you feel that if women feel it's not a bad move for them to make sure that, because there are so many people that are, dishonest online, that maybe they can maybe get a little bit of research and make sure.
Yeah, listen, it's out there. It's out there in the public domain. Go have a look at it. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. You don't like it, then don't put your business out there, right? So, okay. So that's a good one. Okay. So in all reality, I'm going to tell you, Mark, there's still 5 questions. Do you want to answer them now, or would you like to do this a different time? Different time?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
I got in late last night.
No, I was thinking that it's been kind of long, but it's super fun. And then maybe Jamie.
It is super fun. I love answering questions.
I know. So we have more. So maybe next time Jamie can kind of incorporate, I'll keep my mouth shut a little bit and let her talk. So,
man, she can talk too.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mark, I
like a communicator. That works for me.
Yeah,
because then I know what's going on. Oh my God, that's a novel idea. I know what's going on with my partner. She tells me how she feels. What?
What a concept.
Oh my gosh. Probably because I don't give her a hard time when she tells me how she feels. I say, oh, okay.
Goes back and forth.
That's valid.
So, yeah. Well, this was awesome. So I really thank you again, Nurse Mark, for coming on here. And everybody, if you want to get a hold of Nurse Mark, would you let him know how to get a hold of him?
Well, yeah, nursemark.co is the website. I have Nurse Mark podcasts, and I have a best-selling book on Amazon. Absolutely fucking amazing, Living a Life You Love.
And you need to check out that book if you want to live the life you love, for sure. And also, for sure, make sure you can always reach out to me too at Kathlyn Heim, my website. You can check it out on YouTube. But if you want to get more information of any of the guests that I have or myself, or you have some questions that you want to email in to me, I will absolutely 100% bring them on this show and have these amazing men such as Mark come on here and give them their perspective on answers for these questions. And also tune into, I've got multiple episodes with Mark, and you can look at the different episodes and see which ones they are. But, we recently had one about long distance relationships, which is super interesting with a great success story, like I said. Mm-hmm. So again, everybody, thank you for tuning in to Swiping Over 40, online dating for mature women. And may you all find love and happy swiping. Thank you, Mark.
Happy swiping. Thanks, Kathlyn.
Hello, everybody, and thank you again for tuning in to today's podcast, Swiping Over 40. If you like what you heard, go ahead and subscribe to my podcast channel. And ladies, I'm super excited because I do have a book coming out shortly, and it's titled Dating in a Fast Food World, The Girlfriend's Guide to Internet Dating, She Says, He Says. You're going to love it. It takes into account anything you can imagine that you might encounter while navigating through the online dating process. But not only does it have the input from a woman, it has the input from a man as well. So you'll get the inside scoop. You can also subscribe to my newsletter by going to kathlyn.com. I look forward to hearing from each and every one of you, and may you all find love.